just rolled up to Producers Co-op. Actually, this is part of a new pilgrimage, if you will, that we've been doing. It's about 2 hours from the house over here by College Station. But we come over here because the goat feed is almost half price of what we get it for retail at the little feed stores around the house. I'm not complaining about them being expensive. I'm just saying it's cheaper to come over here. So we make a trip over here every month or so, or every other month or so. We try to make obviously less trips. This time we've got the trailer on, so we're going to try to get 9 bags of dairy feed, 9 bags of meat goat feed, and we'll get 3 sunflower seeds. So anyway, there's the silos. We got to go in over here into the main store. So you got to buy the feed in here, and then they will get an order ticket over to the guys here in the silos in the middle, and they'll bring it out and load it for us. Alright, I got about 150 pounds of seed and about, I don't know, 60 pounds of kid on my cart. And then I got these 2 wrangled up in this cart. So they've got all of their products that are available with all the prices. And they've got it all sorted. Okay, there's the loot as promised. 1, 2, 3 to 50 pound black oil sunflower seed, and there's 3. I have to look at the tags. One of these is medicated and one's not. This is the DX, I think, is unmedicated. Oh, medicated. DX is the medicated, so there's 9 of those, and there's 9 of the unmedicated. We give the unmedicated to our lactating goats. It's the same as far as like the protein, the pellet, everything. Just the DX has a general medication on it, I think, to prevent like coccidiosis and whatever else. The unmedicated does not, so we're not getting any of the medicine to that. And, best of all, we got to see a train. There was a train parked right here. We didn't even notice it. It was parked there, offloading, I guess. And then as we were strapping it down, the train started rolling. So, of course, the kids are in the car going nuts. But anyway, we got 21 bags of feed here, 50 pounds a piece. We got just over 1,000 pounds of feed on the trailer, which I think is about all the trailer can handle legally. We're headed home. All right, well, we just got home with the loot. Looks like a few things shifted in transit. You can see our sunflower seeds here kind of spread out, and the other feed sacks fell down through them, but we didn't lose any. There's the 3 sacks here on the front, and the other 6 to those across the back. So it's kind of funny. I feel the trailer get more or less squirrely at different times, and I think it's just because we were so perfectly balanced. I mean, this thing, I could basically pick up on it. That was my check. No, pretty balanced. I mean, it was, when we left Producers, I was able to pick up on the tongue of it, but if I let go, it would drop back down. So it was right at balanced. But anyway, yeah, we've got a whole bunch of feed here, half a ton or so. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put it. Let's see where we've got space. I'm gonna open this Conex up because this place gets sweltering. So both those trash cans are basically empty. That's where we keep our mixed feed. This one here has got a little bit of space in it, but I think a lot of these sacks of feed are gonna end up back here somewhere on a shelf. I'm gonna have to rearrange some stuff to make space. But we had a sack that stayed on the shelf. Oh, speaking of which, I got a whole bunch of sacks of sugar there. So, whoo, I forgot about the sugar. That's where I was gonna put the sacks of feed. Great. I'll figure something out. There's a lot of stuff that can be rearranged. But we had a sack of feed that we stored on the shelf for several weeks, and it didn't get any mice in it this time. So we will hope we won't get any mice in them this time, because we're gonna be storing them a lot longer, so hopefully the mice won't find them. If we do, we might have to go invest in some more trash cans or figure out some other plan to store it long term. But anyway, I'm gonna, I guess, go in the house. The kids already went in the house, figure out what our plan is, but then I'm gonna start doing some work with this and try to get it put away. Oh, okay, I got it all put away anyway for now. Managed to get 3 bags on a shelf back there. They take up way more space than you'd think. There's another 10 bags here and another 10 bags there. 2 bags in there mixed, 1 bag in there mixed, plus the bag of dairy parlor that was already out. And I've got an open bag of sunflower seeds in here and the open bag of Lespedeza, which was already in there. Oh, excuse me. If I had to, I could maybe dump a bag loose in there just to fill the voids. but I don't really want to just because it's a mess. Oh, got it in there, got it mixed. I'm hot, I'm winded. Question is it all worth it? And we're about to find out. All right, let's see if I can make sense of this for you guys. This is the best I could do. I don't have a, fancy whiteboard like some of the other guys that'll scribble all the numbers down for you. So I'm just going to walk you through this. This was a little spreadsheet that I made to figure out the actual savings that the realized savings that we earned by driving all the way over to producers to get this more cost-effective feed. So the load that we went and got, we got 3 bags of black oil sunflower seeds, 9 bags of the pellet DX, which is the medicated for the meat goats, and 9 bags of the lactation pellet, which is basically the same thing as the meat goat pellet, but not medicated. The reason why we get these numbers is because when we mix our feed and we mix the pellets and the black oil sunflower seeds and we mix in the lespedeza, which we sourced separately, it's effectively a 6-to-1 ratio of 6 bags of either one of these two will consume 1 bag of sunflower seeds. So here's the prices through Producers Co-op per bag. It's a 50-pound bag. Here's the prices through TSC. Again, 50-pound bag. And you got here your price per pound on each one, which you guys are welcome to pause and study this if you want. Now, these are the current prices, which actually I made this spreadsheet like a month ago. I'm just now getting around to making the video. But, you can verify these yourselves. You can call up Producers and ask what their prices is if you're in Texas, or call your local feed mill, whatever. Anyway, it all worked out to a total weight of 1,050 pounds, which was not a problem on our little trailer. So now we come down here to our costs. So on the seeds, through Producers, we spent a total of just shy of $60. For TSC, it would have been $75, $81 and $142, $81 and $135 respectively. So here's the total cost. If you'd have gotten the feed, total cost for TSC would have been $352. Total cost for Producers is $222. So that's a 37% savings by going to Producers. This percentage, I think, will be effectively the same no matter how big of an order you get. But of course, the larger the order you get, the more that 37% amounts to a dollar sign. So our total net savings, our net difference, is $129.24. And this is our averaged out feed cost per pound. So we're feeding the goats for 21 cents a pound versus 34 cents a pound. But our total savings here, cash savings, $129.24. Now we come over here and we say, okay, well, how much time did we spend and how much mileage? It was 202 miles round trip. And I figured we got 10 miles a gallon because we were pulling a little trailer. The wife's expedition probably actually gets like 16 highway. With the trailer, we probably actually got 12 or 13 just because it was more of highway miles. But let's just put it at 10. So we used 20 gallons of fuel at an average cost of $2.85 a gallon. That's what it was at the time. We spent $57.57 on fuel. So we still have a savings of $71.67. Now, what I did not account for was money spent for lunch. Now, we did take the whole family and we all ate lunch. But I modeled this as, if you were to go do this as a dedicated feed run, that means whoever's responsible in your household gets up, crack of dawn while everybody else is still asleep, gets up, hits the road, goes, gets the seeds, and get home. That's the way I modeled it. I didn't figure in for lunch and stop for a park and all that nonsense. So your total net savings after fuel is still $71.67. Now, again, that's with this size order, 1,050 pounds. So if you get less, you realize savings is less. And that's the important thing, is you got to have a way to store this feed at your own place. Make it worth it. Only make, a couple of trips a year. Really stock up when you go. If you do that, you're going to have bigger savings. So in our case, we only saved, or we'll say we still put $71.67 was still our net savings. You could say that's money you didn't spend. It's not really money that you earned, but it's money you didn't spend. And then I said it would have been a net difference of 3.5 hours. So I figured if we'd have gone to TSC, the closest TSC to us is about 10 miles away, so it is close. But even still, the time to drive there, load all the bags, do all that, go through the checkout, everything else, it's going to take you at least an hour. For us, it would have been at least an hour. Whereas to go to Producers, yes, it's, 100 miles one way, but that's pretty fast driving, really. It's, all those back roads, they're 65, 75 miles an hour. God bless Texas. And like I said, if you don't put in here that you're stopping for lunch, you didn't have to stop for gas, none of that. You just hauled over there, got home. So a net difference of 3.5 hours. And so you spread this savings across those 3.5 hours. We saved $20.50 an hour. And that's what I always am preaching in my videos to you guys, of course, is, really, truly value your time. Don't just say that because you didn't have anything else to do that Saturday morning that your time was free. From a hobby standpoint or whatever, sure, tell yourself that if you want. But this with the goats is very much a business. We treat it like a business. I do the same thing with my bees. You should do the same thing with whatever business you're into. Figure out the value of your time. If we go and get a 2,000 pound order, just guessing here, this should be about $40 an hour. Actually, it's going to be somewhere in between because the fuel's not going to be as much. The fuel's not going to be twice as much. So your savings would be, not twice as much savings. But yeah, whatever. I'd have to run the numbers on that. But the point being, you've got to figure in what's the cost of your time. Because if you found in the end that, of course, you save money on feed, but you spend it all on fuel, that means you would have lost money on your time. So in that case, you would have been better off just to go somewhere local, spend more for feed or whatever, but not spend as much time. So that's the sort of decisions you guys have to make. For me, for us, it's worth it. If we get at least 1,000 pounds, that's worth it. I always kind of joke that my threshold for, time that I would have otherwise been doing nothing else, I say at least $20 an hour. Either I earn $20 an hour or I save or create $20 an hour. Now that's been my years old mantra. Now my goal, honestly, sounds greedy, but it's $100 an hour. So if I'm going to go work for somebody else, I want to earn $100 an hour. If I'm going to create something for myself, I want to try to create $100 an hour. That's my goal. But $20 an hour, that's a fair goal for, small farm, hobby farm, I think. So anyway, that's it. So probably dragged this out a little bit longer than I had to, but there's the numbers for you guys. This was just a basic Excel spreadsheet that I just printed out. So, any sort of task that you're going to take on, any sort of little project that you want to do, I highly recommend you start putting all these numbers on paper because I think you'd be surprised. It can sneak up on you. So this was worth it. I can tell you some things I've done have not been. You think it's worth it because you think you saved a little bit of money. My favorite, I'm going to end with this, is the people who will drive all the way across town or to the next town down the road to save 5 cents a gallon on gasoline. They're like, I save money on gasoline. And you spent so much time and you probably burn more gasoline just getting there. So I always joke about people that do that. Don't do that. There you go. There's the numbers. It was worth it. If you got a big grain elevator near you and you're feeding a lot of animals, I highly recommend you get over there and don't just go to the local retail place.